What is up, guys? Cornelius here, and today I want to talk to you about Premier Hormone Health. Now, straight off the bat, let me say I am not, and I mean I am not, a doctor or a medical professional. I do own part of Premier Hormone Health. I believe in them 100%. I believe that the protocols we come up with are absolutely cutting edge and as good as it gets, where we are focusing on health as our priority, but then maximizing ourselves after that. So, nothing I'm saying here is a recommendation. And in fact, some of the things I'm going to say here go against what's written on my prescription. So, this is just my musings for myself. So, let's get started. When you order this stuff, it comes in a nice box. It's all packaged away perfectly. Look, you get instructions how to do intramuscular injections. You get all the requirements, and you even get a sharp spin to throw away your waste, which is actually really good. Some people throw in the garbage and stuff. That is absolutely not okay. This is biological waste. It must be disposed of correctly. This is my prescription. Here we have testosterone cypionate, 5 mil. Each mil has 200 milligrams. My prescription is half a mil. That's 200 milligrams in total per week. So 100 twice per week. 200 milligrams per week. Does that put me in normal physiological ranges? Yes, at the very top, perhaps a little bit over, to be honest. But here's my thing. I haven't used TRT or anything like that in over a year. I didn't need it. I wasn't gaining muscle. I wasn't growing. In fact, I was fasting off muscle and I was freeing up my body, getting rid of adhesions. So the last thing I needed was to kind of make myself bigger or spend effort that way. Plus, it was, I always like to give the body a break from everything. However, now I want to regain tissue. I want to be strong. I want to feel my best again. And what better than optimizing your testosterone for doing that? But you don't need a lot. That's my whole thing. Let's say if naturally you might have a test level of 700 in the morning. Okay, guys, but in the evening your test level might be 2 or 300. If your test level is 700 because you're taking long-acting testosterone, your level is like at 700 throughout the day. So although you might not peak up at higher points than, let's say, you might get naturally, you are going to keep your levels elevated in a high, normal, good range, which is really important for staying healthy. It really, especially in today's society, in today's world, we need to do everything we can to combat the stress. And stress reduces hormones, it reduces testosterone. We need estrogen too. So I don't personally use aromatase inhibitors, suicide inhibitors, or any type of anti-estrogens. Because estrogen is heart healthy, it's very important, and I personally don't suffer from estrogen side effects. That's very important. What else do I have? This is oxandrolone, also known as Anavar. Now you might be wondering, Cornelius, what good do you do with 23.5 milligram Anavar pills? Well, here's where I want you to maybe think about your perspective when it comes to drugs. If you have a headache, you take like a headache pill, something for it, and your headache goes away. If you go and, let's say, drink alcohol, if you haven't drunk alcohol in a while, that alcohol works really well. You get a great effect. So one of the biggest misnomers and nonsense that I see in the bodybuilding world is this idea that you have to take these compounds and have them elevated in the blood at all times. Like, it doesn't work if the Anavar isn't continuously in your blood, which is not true at all. The majority of muscle adaptations come in the first 8 hours after training. So let's say you have 2 or 3 really hard weight workouts per week. Apologies. Let's say you add one of these 1 hour before you train, you are going to save so much stress on your body. Because remember, when we're training, we are breaking ourselves down. What is Anavar used for? Burn victims, for people who have, a lot of muscle damage. That's what it's for. But on the other hand, I should say, you don't need to take this every day. And if you do take it every day, yeah, it can have a little deleterious effect. It can affect your lipids and that over time. But let's say if you take 23.5 milligrams of Anavar 2 to 3 times per week, the effects, if anything, I just think the overall effects are just positive. It's good for you overall. If we're talking about, it wouldn't be good for you if you weren't doing that brutal weights workout where you're breaking down so much tissue that you have a need for an anabolic agent to help you recover. If you're just going in there, fluff, pump, stretch stuff, it's not needed. This is only for those very hardcore, damaging bouts of exercise. That's how I use it. Now, like I said, that's not actually how it's prescribed. It's prescribed to take 1 to 1.5 tablet by mouth twice daily. And that is how you maintain optimal blood levels. So let's say I was prepping for a bodybuilding contest and I wanted to peak in 4 weeks. Then I probably would use Anavar, and I would use it how they're suggesting twice per day, because I would want those levels to stay in the body elevated to help give that very specific look. Plus, when you're that lean, your catabolic hormones are so high. I honestly, and I will stick to this until the day I die, a small amount of anabolic steroids and anabolic agents are health promoting. They are metabolism promoting. It's the abuse. It's the guys who are shooting grams of steroids. And look, you do what you want to do for your sport. That's your call. I'm just saying, don't say, ooh, taking testosterone, taking some Anavar or anything like that is bad because, yeah, this one guy had cardiomyopathy and that. Yeah, this one bottle, 5 ml, 200, that's 1 gram in total. I have known many people who easily take that entire bottle in a week. I've known people who take that entire bottle in a day. So that's very different. It's like saying, hey, twice a week, I like to drink 1 glass of red wine. It helps me relax. I enjoy it. Compared to 7 days a week, I drink a pint of vodka. You know, you're intaking alcohol, the drug is going into you both ways. Only one is actually health promoting, because if that 1 glass of wine twice a week really does reduce the stress of the person, then it'll be worth it, because the amount of stress that glass of wine is causing will be less than the amount of stress that wine, helps relieve. However, you have to be really careful with stuff like that, because that's how addictions and so on start to happen. But using that kind of ideology with something like Anavar, I believe we can use a compound like this very safely in a way that promotes our longevity. That's what we're all after. We want to look like Superman, but we want to look like Superman or Superwoman for a long time. We don't want to just blow up, destroy our body. Yeah, I'm 280 pounds. This is awesome. And then, a few years later, you're a cripple, or you're not doing it anymore, or you're totally depressed and destroyed because you became used to running on grams and grams of anabolic androgenic steroids each, day in, day out. And then even when you go back to TRT or something, your brain is just not able to handle it and you have depression. So I'm very much against all of that stuff. But you do what you want to do, of course. PREMIER Hormone. I really see this like it's like the sports car. If you have doing everything in life right, you're killing it, then you can get yourself a sports car, can't you? You can, and you can really make the most out of it. Same with this. I do not recommend you take this stuff unless your health, your well-being is your main priority. And then, yeah, adding this will help. It won't hurt. I do not ever want to advise stuff to people that would hurt them in the long term. And like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm just giving you my thought process on this, because I think in this world nowadays we have these people who are like natty for life. It's like if it's not natural, it's terrible, blah blah. It's all these concepts that people make. In reality, all that matters, guys, is you and what your body and your life is doing. And I am telling you that using stuff like this correctly under medical supervision, if you are able to maximize everything else, this will help take you to that superhuman level. And I don't just mean in the gym, I mean in all aspects.